And then the final course we played was in Marion, North Carolina at this place called North Cove Leisure Club. We've had time to let it settle. I sent out a tweet and I said, I got to let it settle, but North Cove might be the best disc golf property on the face of the earth. Or that I've ever played is how I said it, because I've never played some of the places in Europe and stuff. Yeah. And Trevor, I'll let you talk about the course first.
Okay.
Has your mind changed on it?
No. So we obviously, like, we have a pretty good scale for things because we've played Eagles Crossing, which a lot of big time like if you have a guy like Scott Stokely or any other pro that claimed this who has played practically every course under the sun and is going to tell you that Eagles Crossing is the best out there, then like that means we should have a pretty good scale for opinion, at least in our own opinion. It is obviously subjective, but like we have seen the best of the best. You know, we've played Winthrop Golds, like we've played really good courses, or like historic ones too. The property is flawless. It's on what used to be a golf course. And they have it manicured still beautifully. It's gorgeous. You're in the mountains. But aside from that, I think it is, in my opinion, it is my favorite disc golf course. That course we played was my favorite course I've ever played. It was just, every hole was fun. It was my kind of style of disc golf, a little more open drives, but with protected greens. And like, it's very fun disc golf because you're watching the disc fly even when you're throwing bad shots. So, and I think it's the best disc golf property out there. I think it's better than Eagles Crossing. And I say that mostly because I think Eagles Crossing has better course design on maybe 70% of the holes, like
better man-made features.
Yes. And some,
Just
well,
it's beautiful.
because they have the water.
What about the safari animals?
Like the walls? I was talking about like the walls.
Well, they've got like two.
What
or
about
three
that
walls.
trigger plate that makes the alarm go off?
Yeah,
guys.
I would say Eagles Crossing. It might be kind of it might kind of get a lot out of the water. Like if you take away the water of that course, then what do we think about it? You know, which it's not to say like water doesn't count for anything, but I think the Eagles Crossing has some better disc golf holes, but overall, like there's some bad ones at Eagles Crossing, and every hole, I didn't think there was any awful ones at this course. And in my opinion, like if I had to choose to just teleport to a course and play it again, like I'm gonna pick that one over Eagles Crossing.
Here's what I'll say.
like people need to realize we're not just saying, we're not crapping on Eagles Crossing. We're
No.
saying Eagles Crossing is an amazing course. This is how highly we think of
No,
it.
yeah, and I'm not even. And when I say my favorite course, I'm not even judging like if I were to host a pro tour, which course would I pick? I'm saying which course have I enjoyed playing the most in my life, and that's it right now.
That's what I was gonna say. The Eagles Crossing, I think, is a better course of the two for tour level golf. If you brought the top players in the world, we didn't get to play. We're going to definitely go back to North Cove. We only played Boulders. Well, they have 3 courses there. They have River Run, which is more of a pitch and putt. We got to play a few holes of that after with some of the families that came out to watch. And then Boulders is the one we played. And then they have, what's the other one called?
The Gorge.
The Gorge. Then they have the Gorge. The Gorge is apparently the more championship level course. We didn't get to play that one. So we're basing this on Boulders. Boulders is the course. And Boulders, if you brought the Pro Tour to, it would get shredded to a certain extent. It doesn't have, you'd have to add a lot of OB to it and change the course up.
Hard, but yeah,
There's also apparently one called Duvy that's like temp layout there as well. We also didn't get to see that. So this isn't to say that North Cove couldn't hold a Pro Tour, but the Boulders course couldn't in its current state. Whereas Eagles Crossing in its current state could. I think the difference to me, because what I'm trying to do as well is in my head, I'm trying to think of, I walk onto the course as just someone who's not there to film, not going to get in. Because like North Cove, we didn't have to pay. They were extremely gracious hosts. We didn't have to pay for anything. I'm removing that from my opinion of the course. Because obviously, if you walk in and the course is handing you canned Gatorades and telling you don't have to pay, you're going to like the course a little bit more before you even step foot on the property. So I'm removing all of that. I'm trying to think, I'm walking into Eagles Crossing and I got to pay $25, or I'm walking into North Cove and I got to pay $10. Which one am I walking out of there happier with?
Or 15 to play 2
or
rounds.
15 to play all. You can play all 3 courses.
Or 3 if you wanted. Yeah.
Yeah,
play
$15 you have an all day pass
which
at
is
North Cove.
Really good.
At Eagles Crossing, I do think $25 got you you
I
can
think
play
it was
again.
35.
Was it 35 to play a second time?
Either way, you're
Either
paying
way.
more. And that course,
What am I
that's
walking
twice.
away happier with? As just a normal disc golfer, an average player, I'm having way more fun at North Cove. It's not even close. Mainly because Eagles Crossing is just a very demanding course. It is a tour level course. And like Trevor was saying, the property itself and the views of the property itself, they're not even on the same scale.
There's some things that disc golf courses, well, you can control to an extent, but you can't once the course is in, and that's just the natural terrain and the surroundings. And this North Cove course being set in the mountains, it was just like, the views were incredible compared to Eagles Crossing, which is a beautiful property, but surrounding it is just, you're just in the middle of nowhere.
There were
It's
multiple
flat.
times where I was like standing on the tee or at a green or whatever. And I also think that was another thing is North Cove was very creative with their greens and how they protected them.
Yeah.
To where like they would even at times, it had to be intentional. If it was just by chance, great job, you lucked out. But it had to be intentional. Where like the easiest shot to get to the green would be protected by something on the green. So like there would be like a dune that came up right of the basket. So the wide open easy hyzer, you could throw it, but now you're gonna have to sail it a little bit, and it makes it a more risky shot. To where like they were very strategic to where there wasn't a single hole that I would say that hole I wish they would change. At Eagles Crossing, I think I could think of one or two that I would wish were slightly different or like somewhat forgettable holes. North Cove, it didn't really have it. But again, personally, I think that now after sitting here, after thinking through it all weekend, I'm ready to say Boulders at North Cove was my favorite course I've ever played. The most fun I've ever had playing disc golf was at that course. But I don't think it's the best course in the world if you're looking at it from like a Pro Tour standard.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ready for that type of thing.
But that being said,
could the Gorge or something be?
we might just play
Maybe.
the Gorge and then
Maybe. Well, we're definitely going to go back this fall, most likely, and play all three courses, spend like 2 days there, and get a bunch of videos out of it. But yeah, I'm ready to put my stamp of approval on that thing. That thing, I mean, if you're ever near Marion, if you live in Charlotte, I think it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours out, something like that. There is a bed and breakfast at the base of the property as well.
Yeah.
You can stay there, or we stayed like 20 minutes away at Holiday Inn Express.
I would declare it like if you're nearby or if you're just looking to make like a disc golf trip, like a guy's trip or whatever, like that's where you should go because you can stay right there at the base of the property and you can play 3 awesome courses for a pretty affordable rate.
And
Like
since it's in the mountains, I'm sure there's some cheap Airbnbs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
there's
think-
also
I think it's
that
a
was
great
another
spot.
thing too, is there's more to do around
There was a lot closer stuff.
the North Cove.
Yeah.
At Eagles Crossing, you're about 25 minutes out from a small town, and that small town was a small town. It had like a KFC, I think, or Wendy's where we stopped. It had like a gas station. There's probably a hotel to stay there. But Marion, there was a lot of like mountain resort type stuff around. So like there's a lake nearby. It seemed like we didn't see any of this, but there were signs to it. There was a lake nearby. We passed by a water park. You're just in the mountains. So there was like hikes to do, stuff like that. There's a lot more to do around it. So if you were making a disc golf specific trip and you were just like, we want to go one place, just park ourselves there for 2-3 days.
Not to mention there's 3 courses.
It's tough to beat. It's tough
Yeah.
to beat North Cove, I think.
that alone is a huge draw. It's that there's 3 courses on the property.
Yeah. Yeah. So there it is. That's the battle. Definitely. That's actually why we're pushing the North Cove one up. We originally were going to go Knoxville, Georgia, and then South Carolina, North Carolina in July. But after playing North Cove, we want that video to come out sooner rather than later. Just because we believe, I think that course deserves a lot more hype than it's getting. It's where the home of college nationals is. And I don't hear enough people talking about
Yeah,
it.
not enough people are talking
I don't know
about
why. Like a lot of people have talked about a lot of other courses, and I've played a lot of those courses. And like, as a normal disc golfer, you're gonna have way more fun
That's-
and you're just gonna have a way better time at North Cove than a lot of these other
That
places.
is the funny thing is like we've had courses hyped up so many times and we go there and like even if the course is incredible, you can't help but feel slightly let down. And this is the first time that nobody had really hyped this course up. So I was thinking like I saw the pictures, I was like, this is gonna be cool. I knew it was gonna be cool, so I was kind of hyping it up to myself. But we hadn't heard anything, and it just blew me out of the water. Like I was like, "Why isn't anybody talking?"
There's
about
also,
this
I mean,
place?
there was a nice. One thing I also liked is there was water features because there was a nice wide riverbed that ran through.
Yeah,
So it presented danger. A lot of times you're throwing to or having to throw across, but there wasn't a lot of danger of losing discs. So like there was water features and there was things you had to think about.
And there's some really thick ivy that you.
But
could
you
lose
could
them in,
easily,
but-
you could lose it there. But I'm saying like as far as in the riverbed, like you
No,
could get
you're-
down in there.
Yeah, you're not losing a disc in there.
So yeah, I'm very excited for this battle.
I
to
mean,
come
I threw
out. I think
Trevor's
you'll,
rock in the middle of the creek twice. So.
yeah, I think you'll see what we're talking about once this comes out.
If you want to, if you want a sneak preview, you can look at our socials. The clip of Hunter throwing that sick drive that's on like all of our socials right now. That was at.
That was on hole 17.
Yes, that's at the course. So that's a little sneak preview. There's
Yeah.
a lot of cool shots like that.
Very, very gorgeous course. So yeah, that's the battle, or that's the road trip we went on. Hopefully you enjoy all the Bogey Bro battles that come of it. There's also going to be a vlog posted on our Patreon. If you're not a Heiser Club member, highly recommend joining there. There's a lot of other reasons too, but specifically the little behind the scenes of our whole road trip is going to be posted there. So if you want a little more content, it's going to be pretty entertaining.